최고의 쇼다운. 농심 레드포스 대 BNK KRX.
It was ridiculous.
It was good. It was good stuff. Casting looking very good. And,
well, I mean, if we do say so ourselves.
yeah, I mean...
Okay, probably going to be banned. Jay's going to be banned as well.
It took a lag there.
Yeah, it's okay. We're at the game 4. You know, this is potentially the last game of the night.
I don't see...
There's just mainly brain lag. That's what we have left.
I don't see co-streaming the player on either of these lineups, if you know what I'm saying.
Technically, we are co-streaming.
Yeah.
Because it's the Korean broadcast that we're working over. So technically, our entire broadcast, our whole existence, is a co-stream. If you think about it.
That's true. I guess.
Maybe
my whole life is a co-stream.
maybe life is a co-stream, Wolf.
I'm actually literally just talking and
my
observing.
Consciousness is only co-streaming my body.
Everything I say is actually just what I've observed about the planet I'm on that's rotating and revolving around the sun without my... I haven't produced it. I haven't controlled it.
It's just your interpretation of it.
I knew I was a co-streamer all along.
See, we're all co-streamers.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this final ban. Is it Lock?
It is.
Romer got to play Lock in Kespa Cup, and it was very fun.
It was, and now he's not allowed to play it. Not anymore. He's going to ban it away himself. They do have first pick, so they didn't have to. And they're obviously going for something else instead. It's not going to be Orianna or the Vi. Let's see what's going to be picked up here. Maybe
Ezreal.
just a Lee Sin for Gideon. Maybe an Ezreal for Teddy. That's a really good point. I think it has to be Ezreal, right?
Just get Ezreal. Just slam it down.
The Ezreal in the Fries group bag.
Yep.
All
it's
right.
the best one.
Come on, Teddy. Do it. The cameraman knows. The cameraman knows. It's Ezreal time.
It's Ezreal time.
Isn't it Ezreal time?
It's first pick Lee Sin time.
It's first pick Lee Sin time. Oh, no. Why did I manifested that.
It is Gideon. Gideon's like, put some respect on my name. I know Ezreal 100% win rate, but Lee Sin's really good. Very flexible. Fine. Okay. I'll give Gideon some credit. Let's see if there's any grub pickups later. For the response here, Victor, less appealing these days. It's kind of fallen off a little bit. We're not seeing it as much. In fact, we haven't seen it all day. Annie Wukong in my Rise group.
Oh, there we go. The Fries special. You love
Keep
to
it
see
simple, Rise group. Willer, you know you like to play Wukong. We've seen quite a bit of Wukong out of you. You can go it on 3 because you already have the jungler on the other team locked in. They'll get the Ezreal as well and Kiwum DRX with a nice little setup here. Pay no attention to that win rate on the Ezreal. That is year-long.
Yeah, and so that is taking into account all of the matches that happened prior to the meta going insane. The last week or so, Ezreal has been completely ballistic. Lucian Milio as the immediate response, I think sounds pretty good when you can nullify the bear drop.
I wonder if they would consider going Karma. I don't think you want to because you want the Wukong. They could go Rakan later, maybe, you know, with all the setup they have. It's not going to be great in the lane, but they are just going to say no to Lucian and also no to Wukong, sadly, for Willer.
I think it has to be the Karma. I think that makes a lot of sense. Not having the Rakan for the Rise group combo, I think, is a worthy sacrifice. But they're going to need Engage from somewhere else. I don't think Yukal can do it on his own. As the Rise is going to be taken away from Roma. Rise Lee Sin has been pretty popular. And I'm expecting... Oh, okay. So the Xin Zhao ban going to come through. I actually kind of thought it would be Wukong Skarner taken away to protect the Lee Sin pick as much as possible.
They can still ban the Wukong in that final spot if they want to, because this was a big commitment to grab the Karma here for Andil.
Yep. I do really like Skarner in this spot for Willow, though. So maybe they will get a free monkey with the Scorpion banned away. The Galio going to be taken away from Roma first.
It will get one of the two, as the Galio counterpick to Annie has been very successful. It's great with the Lucian comp like this with Lee Sin in tow. I think I'd rather play against Skarner than Wukong in this draft. But Skarner is very difficult to kill depending on what Romer is planning on playing. They agree they will ban the Wukong.
Was it Willa that played the ridiculous Skarner game?
It was.
In the Casper Cup? It was, right? Yeah. Him and Canyon having absolutely insane performances on that champ.
Hecarim would be very fun.
Yeah.
Also probably bad, and don't do it.
I don't think that Hecarim is going to be the lock-in, but Aiming is hovering it for quite some time.
Pantheon is a pretty big curveball here, but it does give this draft a little bit more direct engage and also a lot of skirmishing power, like the burst damage. in the early game is very strong, and the 3v3 on the bottom side is much better than Wukong would have offered pre-6, obviously, so can help that bottom lane. As the Aurora is a classic counter to the Annie. Like these are the two, the Galio and the Aurora. This one a little bit less common than the Twisted Fate, but really suits this composition. I like the Aurora more, though, because I think it has a lot more power in sides, a lot more safe.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded something like an Akali as well, but I guess up against the Annie, you're not having as much fun. The Aurora has been an answer to it before. Although, Aurora, last time we saw it, I believe it was Zeka playing it in our series yesterday. Didn't like it as much there either. But now I'm going, what are you locking away for casting? That is the question. Yone. Wait, where are these champions going?
Well, it might depend on what Frog is picking. If they are going to play Yone, they might not. And they might just play something standard here instead. You could just play Renekton. It's available.
Yeah, or you can just lock in Anivia.
Okay.
Now we have no idea where either of these champions are going. However, the archetype is similar for both.
I think it's probably Aurora mid just because of the matchup into the Annie, but that being said,
Yorick for Frog.
This is not a simple matchup into either of these potential top laners for the Yorick to play out. The Anivia wave clears through everything, and the Aurora's burst damage has to be respected.
I do think it's a better matchup into the Anivia than it is into the Aurora. Aurora a lot more tricky, and the whole idea of playing Yorick is hit E. The bird flaps away from the E a little bit worse than the Aurora would. So I expect casting would have preferred to play the Aurora there, but they do want to make sure that they preserve that matchup into UCal. So let's see whether Frog can find some advantages here.
It's a bit of a additional layer of setup for team fights in the pick with the Lucian Lee Sin. I just think that they didn't need to reinvent the wheel with this one, with the Anivia and the curveball there. They certainly could have just played Renekton, which would have been really good for their comp. Maybe they're worried about Renekton counterpick, like the Gnar coming through. But ultimately, we end up with the weird draft, which makes it more fun.
Yeah. And I believe that guy, was that his 10-year anniversary of watching the LCK?
I didn't actually see what it said. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's very cool.
I was slack, and I had in my mind's eye the compositions up, wondering which one I'd say in this moment where the color caster sums it up and sometimes says someone wins the draft. I think this one's going to be about execution, which is the color caster safe word for we'll see. It's Rise Group, baby.
Yeah, and I don't know. Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting onto the rift for game number 2. All right, I do want to say the coordination of the KRX fan chants, much better this time around. So very, very nice. Oh, wait. So apparently that guy, the last time he went to watch the LCK was 10 years ago. And now he's back after 10 years. That's pretty
Wonder why he took that long break.
Maybe he just stayed home to watch the LCK anyway.
I mean, streaming has improved quite a bit since then. Although I suppose back then he might have watched it on television. 10 years ago, wow, 10 years ago, 2016, we actually did have HD on OGN back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that. I mean, a little 4x3 action for quite some time, but...
You did have to be subscribed, I think, in 2016 in order to get the maximum value. But, I mean, I'm sure he was. He's aiming, taking a lot of damage here. Is a little bit of a late barrier there as well. We'll get some of that damage to stick. And he'll going to straight up miss a Mantra Q, which always feels bad. And as we can see here, the Bros now find themselves 2 summoner spells in the advantage with this Melio Lucian lane.
Aiming and Andil just trying to put on as much pressure as they can here. As now they hit level 2. A little bit more power there, but the level 1 for the Karma should be really good as... I don't want to do it. I don't want to say it.
Yeah, Frog's masochism is really showing itself here as he did decide to play this matchup. Oof. Oh my goodness, yeah. So...
Something...
the wave will crash, Wolf.
Frogger game over screen impending.
Yeah.
You ever play Frogger 2?
No, I didn't. I did hear about Frogger 2 as... I did also hear about Roma possibly being dead. The flash to follow. There's first blood for Willa. Beautifully played here by KRX. Off on the right foot this time.
Get the kill and the flash. Flash trade, but Romer not going to be happy about this one, especially because it's really easy for the setup for UCal.
Yep, immediate teleport back.
Yeah, stun prep is going to be the name of the game. He's going to have to keep his eye on that, but Frogger 2 was a very, very late sequel to Frogger, which I'm sure there's a lot of versions of Frogger, but everyone's familiar with the concept. You cross the road, and then you cross the river, and there's crocodiles and stuff like that. I thought maybe Frog would be playing into Renekton. I was really hoping for it for the reference, but that was a 3D game. I think a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually really enjoyed it as a kid. Frogger 2 played on PC.
You actually played Frogger 2. I'm very impressed.
You get a double hop. You actually has like 3D elements. You can go upstairs.
I thought Frogger 2 was actually just trying to avoid the slimes after patchwork in Nax Rammus. That's what I thought it was.
I think that's a fair call.
야, 리신도 아래 팀이야 이거 얘들아. 나 이거
So,
아까 맞고 웬만하면
He's
이겨서
basically calling us way early about where he thinks the Lee Sin
잠깐만요.
is, so he's looking for this pick in the mid lane. So calls it out early, and then stun comes through here. He's stacked up, so he can very easily follow up with the speed boost there.
Oh, I can't believe that we are... Okay, never mind. We've got a little bit of an engage here as Namgung taking a lot of damage, aiming, looking for some revenge as the flash gets Namgung out of there. But the damage kind of being done as Gideon just kind of happy feeding around, trying to work out where to attack next. Willer is going to be moving over here as Gideon realizes that he's going to have to safeguard out. And man, the bros well and truly on the back foot. 700 gold down as a team. And what I was going to say is that it's Frog versus Anivia in the top lane. And we haven't mentioned Froggen.
Yeah, Icebird, Frog.
Yeah.
Frog in. Maybe Frog it would be more appropriate to mention Froggen if this was his debut game this season, but he already played earlier this week.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, he is into Anivia, which was the Froggen champion, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well,
either way, Andil is just waiting here, trying to soak as much XP as possible. Will move back into the lane now.
I do think that a conversation about Rich's individual performance has been happening all year long. It's been very up and down, right? But after watching 2 series of Frog, I'm not necessarily convinced. I feel like the biggest impact he's had on the LCK is letting us all know through Ox and some joking that, oh boy, Andil.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage here. As aiming, trying to offer it back, and actually Teddy
no mana.
not left in the tank. As aiming flashes in, he gets fire kicked, but I think he's still got it. As another auto will need to land, and aiming's already looking for Namgung here instead.
Oh,
that is
right.
a gorgeous kill, and aiming is angry.
Aiming's back online here. They banned the Ezreal in game 1. And in game 2, he gets his hands on it here, and Teddy was a little out of the blue stuff there. As we'll watch it back again. Goes for a backstop and then commits further the dash. And now he's fully committed. They don't have damage with Milio to actually get back in here. And the heal comes back up for Andil, so that chase is really quite simple.
I love the full commit from aiming as well, like immediate arcane shift flash forward. He's like, you are dead.
I mean, it kind of was checkmate the moment that Teddy went in one step further there. I just don't think that there was much he could have done.
All right, there is the ulti trade. I think UCal missed the Tibbers damage, actually, but still Willer is going to show up in the nick of time. And Gideon does hit a Q. It looks like KRX are going to be absolutely okay here in this mid lane, retaining that advantage that they have. 1.4k, Gideon now going to move over. Doesn't have kick, does have the flash up and available. Both of them just looking to see whether they can get control of this scuttle for that level 6. It's now Teddy and Andil fighting once again, but they know how this goes. There's another dash forward as Andil flashes away. And now aiming, he doesn't have his flash, remember, so does have to be a little careful. It looks like the bros might have control of this crab.
Tibbers being the bodyguard, keeping Romer out. Can't come in and rejoin, so not only do KMDRX have to stop the aggression, but also there's no punish to come through. So 1.5k gold lead remains here for this squad. You can see it's starting to stack up leads everywhere except that top lane.
Yeah, and even that, it's only 130. Not anything to worry about as Gideon moving down towards his bottom side, trying to capitalize on the lack of flashes as Andil should be the target, but the Q is going to hit onto aiming, and they get both. Gideon on the board with a double kill in the bot lane.
And like giving the Ezreal over to aiming, giving the Lee Sin over to Gideon, is certainly a cause for alarm if you are a KMDRX fan. Aiming is, or rather, Ondil is 100% going to die, so the shift is over onto aiming here with this Flash Sonic Wave. Gideon is able to, as a result, guarantee both kills.
I think he kicked aiming in the face when aiming had like 30 health. That is like... That's more about sending a message than it is doing the right thing. He could have autoed him and he would have died. But no, he kicked him in the head instead.
Sometimes use all your cooldowns.
Yeah. Really appreciated. All right, KRX going to move their bottom lane towards the top side. And we'll see whether they can get some plates for aiming up here. He still has the 300 gold lead, still feeling pretty good with that CS advantage. But Teddy will be able to eat this whole wave. And so therefore that deficit is not going to remain that large for that long. Will it here on the grubs?
Gideon hates this.
Yeah, this is Gideon grubs.
He's going to have to let these grubs go because he used everything on that bottom side play and does not have control over this area. Man, Gideon really wanted to make that double happen on the bottom side. He's willing to give up grubs for it as a bear gets dropped.
Yep.
You know a little bit about that.
Yeah, Romer is this time going to be able to handle it. And yes, drop bears are real and scary. As the Maiden's blocked out. That was very cool from casting, causing her to just kind of malfunction.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. Another little nuance of the Anivia-Yorick matchup.
There it is.
We're learning here. Frog was able to teach us, as I was mentioning earlier, indirectly that Dagon's spirit animal is the Afghan hound.
Indeed.
But now he's, because he picked Yorick into Anivia, teaching us that the Maiden could get walled off and create a bit of a funny situation.
Now casting as well is going to pick up a Rod of Ages at 9 minutes. That's very early. Really raced towards that item. The early Catalyst was great for lane as well, but now he's going to be stacking that one up. And when you're a top laner, like, think about the level advantage that casting's going to have over the rest of the map.
He's going to feel very good about that, as well as getting his level 3 ultimate online. Gideon fishing for another bottom side pick here potentially, but sees with this ward the retreat, and will just settle for Drake control here with Namgun clearing up this control vision. Willer is here, so we do have a bit of a 3v3 potentially if we are going to see a Drake commit.
Cool. Taking a bit of damage here as now Willer is going to get tagged by a Q. Gideon does have his kick back, but doesn't have flash, and immediately he's going to get stunned. There's the safeguard. The ulti has to be used here from Namgung and Teddy. Just going to play some defense with that Culling. Gets rid of them. But that is some good defensive play from KMDRX.
There's a lot of burst damage here for KMDRX. I think Gideon was really playing quite riskily to go in on a play like that. Does get pushed out, but nothing eventuates from it outside of KMDRX actually getting back control of the Dragon Pit themselves in the 3v3 as Gideon relents and goes over to try to make a pass on Yukal. Yukal is too safe.
Yeah, he is transitioning back down again.
Yeah, it
looked like
weird.
He was safeguarding to go up, but instead he's going to go back as now Teddy going to try and find some damage towards aiming. He takes a lot, though, as now Gideon comes in, kicks Willer away, and doesn't do enough damage. Now Yukal's coming over. We're going to need a safeguard out, and Gideon will leave. Does feel a little bit like a waste of time, as Willer almost dying to the Chemtech Dragon, but he'll be all right as, oh, Yukal, you could see he wants it. Finds the bear onto the Lee Sin, and we'll be able to take them down. Now Roma, does he have an angle for it? The answer is no, and the health bar is just a little too high for this Aurora to burst them down.
And Gideon was very indecisive, I think you could say, about a lot of the plays we were just watching there. You know, going back and forth, going back up to mid, then deciding to commit back to the bottom lane fight. And like I said, in the moments leading up to that, it's a lot of burst in KMDRX's composition. And when they opted out, they couldn't get out of range of Yukal, who ends up setting up the kill there. So Dragon goes over, kill goes over. And once again, Hanjin and Breon find themselves at a 1,500 gold deficit here in this early game.
Oh, we're ulting in towards his bottom lane. Is Teddy almost just dead from the True Shot barrage? Gideon is right here. He was doing his Gromp at the time, so Willer not going to be able to grab the kill onto Teddy, who does have Flash and Cleanse up and available. The Cleanse wouldn't be all that useful because he'll just die to basically anything hitting him. But they are still able to clear up these minions.
Willer's not even going to charge a Q. Not interested in even attempting. Teddy does have Flash as well, so even if it looked like it was going to hit, would have been able to flash it. But didn't want to stay too long channeling that spear. Just decides better. But I think that's a mature Pantheon decision. A lot of Pantheons, myself included, absolutely would have died trying to kill Teddy there.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Sticking around because
I'm like, why did I ult in? To kill Teddy. So I will right-click towards...
you're like, he's on like 30 health. The execute value is so high.
Yep. And then I'd immediately start complaining afterwards that, you know, somebody else made a mistake, and therefore it's not my fault.
Yes.
That I did the thing that definitely caused my own death.
Well, that's kind of rude. You shouldn't do that. I would have done everything except
afterwards.
that part.
I would afterwards, like when I've said that, you know, in the initial emotional response, I would be like, hang on a second. Let's think about this rationally for a moment. And then I accept the blame. And then we move on from there.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
As long as you own up to it. It's
yeah. As Casting's going to be able to stun these ghouls that are sort of attacking him right now. Does have the Swifties now completed. It's going to feel a whole lot better for trying to avoid these morning mists. As the Maiden going to pop up and take a lot of damage here from Casting.
Get out of there, Maiden! No!
Yeah, she only just spawned!
Man, I can't believe he picked Yorick.
Oh, no.
Clear counter pick of
gold.
Anivia, man. It is broken into Yorick, as we could see.
Well, going well so far, absolutely. He is one of the only gold advantages on the map right now for the Bros. I think a lot of it has to do with Casting just having a really good day today. To be honest, he's looking very, very good. His Rumble, phenomenal. And this Anivia working out well so
This Lucian, by the way, really is for Teddy. Like, he had a lot of setup early, but he's not controlling the tempo of this game anymore. It's Aiming who's constantly harassing and threatening him with this Karma pick. And the fact that they have this Pantheon ultimate always in tow makes it really difficult for Teddy to try to look for extended trades against Aiming's poke, because when the ult comes back up, he's going to be vulnerable. Speaking of vulnerable, maybe...
What's the idea here? Oh, Gideon. This is so cute. I don't think he's been spotted. There's the flash kick. Aiming going to get tagged and taken out in the mid lane once again.
And the shoe's on the other foot in terms of what I was just saying there, because it was, in fact, Aiming was putting the pressure on, and he gets punished.
Here's another one as Andil has to flash out of the Between Worlds. Now Willa does dive forward, looking to try and get some damage onto Roma here, who's waiting will help him move on out of there as Andil very close to dead himself. Roma going to get ushered out by Namgung and will be okay now. So the Bros even out the kill score and do a decent job evening out the gold as well.
It's the way that trading pattern went.
Yeah,
I think Gideon is just like, all right, I think there's an angle here.
이번에 볼게. 나 태클에서 볼게.
Gorgeous.
It's obviously the follow-up
Nice.
Q. He gets the kill as well with the Q execute. And that's another dead, overextended Aiming, although this time a little bit more forgivable because of the information he had than the Jin moment.
It was a really beautiful play around vision. I assume Willa didn't see him when he was walking over there. Do want to make sure that that is stated. If he was seen, then I think they probably should have been moving back a little bit sooner than that. But otherwise, really nicely played by the Bros. As Teddy now with a little bit of free time perhaps with this turret, as never mind. Aiming is able to get back. Rift Herald goes over to KRX, and 20 seconds until this second Dragon.
It's a really close game. You know, the Lucian didn't control the tempo that much. Gideon has a pretty nice lead right in this game, but it's 500. Like, he has 3 kills, but it's not like this Lee Sin is going to take over the game by any means. The Ezreal 2-item spike is still a ways away. The Lucian, who had an Essence Reaver, you know, in a lot of drafts would be controlling the pace of the game, but he really hasn't been able to in this game with the Aurora Burst either. So maybe this next Dragon fight will be the first big skirmish where they can get value out of this Lucian. Otherwise, we are looking at an Aiming 2-item spike pretty soon. They have Herald control as well, and Gideon has his eyes on the Annie.
Yeah, and that means that this Rift Herald is going to get a free charge. It's not going to take down the turret just yet. Teddy will be able to claim the 25 gold. The Drake is what they're looking for. Gideon on the Krugs. And he's been down here for a long time. Unseen right now. This Lee Sin has been playing some
stealth
covert ops.
Lee Sin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all right. Now looking for an option towards Roma. I believe Willa showed himself on the Scuttle Vision.
This is such a strange situation as Gideon is still behind enemy lines here. We'll be seen by this ward.
Yeah.
He wants to find Aiming again.
Oh, I think he thinks that he's unseen. There's the flash over from Willa, and boom goes the Lee Sin. That should guarantee
when you're
the Drake for KMDRX.
When you're playing this tricky, sometimes you get caught, sometimes you get found out. He didn't the last time around. He got Aiming then, but this time he is blown up. And unfortunately didn't have a sweeper because he's Lee Sin to know that he was on a ward. because he wants to keep the trinket in order to maximize his mobility. One of the small weak points that you can have as Lee Sin in a moment like this, where you think you're being tricky, but you're actually just hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, a little bit of a problematic scenario there. So that is going to be the Drake secured another Ocean Soul.
I feel like with this draft, it's hard to scrap with Lucian the way you want to, and they're just trying to resort to covert ops instead of trying to use this Essence Reaver power spike. So as a result, guess what? Aiming is on 2i. I'm sure he hasn't transformed yet, but he's about to. And Breon have kind of lost their little tempo window here.
Yeah, I would agree.
Game.
I do think that once they get into the teamfight phase, if they can play around this Anivia well, then things could work. But it reminds me a lot of the Gen G draft in game number 2 in our previous series. And that one just didn't quite work. Roma down here, though, is going to be able to get some damage on this outer turret. And we'll see whether the bros can pull themselves back up after this, because Aiming just running amok in the mid lane will be able to take out this outer turret very comfortably.
He is
first turret blood over to KRX.
You know, when Aiming plays checkers, he says "Gold King me" when he kills the structures instead.
He does do that.
Me. It's kind of annoying to people who are playing checkers with him because they don't understand the reference, but he gets the first brick. Like, it's mid-turret that actually is the first to go down to an Ezreal who's just had control over this Lucian. He's really actually made a much larger impact here as Gideon once again.
Yeah, Frog is going between the worlds, kicked into the wall, and nowhere to go. Does have a lot of healing, so it takes some time, but he was never going to survive that one. Does not use the flash, though, so pretty smart stuff there from Frog. Sort of accepted his fate.
Well, Gideon finds another one. See if he can keep his team afloat in this game. Might be punished by Pantheon.
Yeah, Roma, let's see whether he can escape this. Does have flash, so I have a feeling he might be able to be tricky and get over it. Never mind, he's not going to use it. He's just going to die.
He's just going to give the kill over to Aiming, in fact. And we're on the Kiwoom side. Pretty big eruption in the crowd there after that play. As it's looking more and more likely like this mid-game and the power of this composition for Bro just isn't really going to come online the way that it's intended to, the way that this draft intended it to. As we're going to see Frog come up here to defend this turret.
Gonna have to deal with the Glacial Storm, so even though he has completed the quest, he's running real fast, he's got his big old shield, he's not going to be able to catch up to casting at the moment. So you see this play once again as Frog takes a long time to die, but does eventually die.
Got the Froggy, all right, but look at what's happening on the mini-map. Critically, Teddy does not come down. However, who's down is Aiming and Pantheon, who has ult. So Aiming is coming down here naturally to catch the wave after they lost their top laner. And Romer just sacrifices himself so that the Lee Sin can escape. And even though he had flash, there were just too many members here. He didn't have his ult either to try to do some Pac-Man moves.
Wow, it's a lot of old game references in this particular broadcast. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Sorry, you're casting with me.
Yeah, it was always going to happen, wasn't it?
I mean, at least I didn't bring up, like, Balloon Fight yet, but...
That's true. What about Pilot Wings? Is there going to be a reason to bring that up? Because that game was pretty cool back
My
in the
parents
day.
really liked giving me Pilot Wings because they're like, unlike the other games with some of the violence, this one seems to be about landing on a platform.
Yeah, and you did do that over and over
Pilot
again.
Wings was miserable as a child, though, because it was very hard, and I wasn't good at it. I liked the platforming. That one I could do.
Well, looks like our top laners like platforming as well, because they're both building them all over the place. That was a pretty sick segue, I'm not going to lie.
That was pretty clean.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's just say you landed in the middle of the platform on that segue.
Yeah! I should go play Pilot Wings again. Where's my N64? All right, Casting does hit level 16, though. He has hit 10 stacks on his Rod of Ages. And Frog now finds himself in a 2-level deficit out of nowhere. It's sort of unfair, but it's the Rod of Ages really allowing Casting to rocket ahead as far as experience is concerned. We're going to have a level 20 bird very quickly.
You know, earlier today we had that T1 game where I was like, wow, this is like the most dominant 1.5k gold lead I've ever seen. This is not that. This is like 1.5k gold lead. Almost accidentally, Aiming's been spoon-fed some kills here. It's like basically only his lead right now in this game. He hit 2 items, but bro, the thing is they're just not able to utilize their comp the way that it's like the Essence Reaver was kind of missed that spike there. He's got rapid fire cannon, but there just isn't a lot of setup for him. Gideon is the engage because they're running this Milio lane, there isn't really anything else besides this Lee Sin. So if he can't find the angle, this Ezreal is so safe. He's so free to just kind of poke and do damage.
Is Willa safe, though? That's the question, as he's taking a whole bunch of pokes, standing in the Glacial Storm. Does eventually have to flash to get out of there. Frog's moving up. Is the Ghoulie Wall going to land? As the Morning Mist is going to connect. Teddy still dashing forward. Crystallize just barely missing on aiming there, who Arcane shifts forward once again. Looking for angles towards Namgung. The Mystic Shot's really hurting. True Shot Barrage doing the same thing. Here's the man drop as Willa goes forward one more time. Gets kicked back, and the culling is eaten by everyone. Casting down to the egg. Frog still looking healthy, and so is Teddy. But the bear comes through. The ulti from Namgung is a little bit late as the bear is burning Teddy down. He needs another relentless pursuit, but he is not going to be fighting for his team anymore. And KRX, I mean, they lose one, but their health bars are looking a whole lot better.
Yeah, they get a kill, but they lose the fight. They're not actually able to push any further. They're all going to have to retreat. They get a Maiden here for their troubles, as again, this is just a terrible matchup for the Maiden, at least.
Yeah, the Maiden gets hard counted. I'm not sure about the Yorick.
The Yorick's doing all right, but okay. The target selection was very messy in that exchange for KRX. When Willer ulted, I was like, what's his plan here? And then he focused down Gideon, who's incredibly mobile and very far away from the damage dealers. So he went very deep and I think didn't necessarily have a plan. He just knew he wanted to go in. So I don't think we should watch that replay because it would be very silly. Meanwhile, we're set up for another dragon fight here. Amy's got his ult back, but the rest of the team, not so much. We don't have Tibbers just yet here for UCal, getting closer and closer.
Yeah, Frog missing out on the Maiden as well as the Morning Mist isn't going to land. Does put Casting in the pen, and Willer is going to join him there. Flash out from the bird. Oh my goodness, the damage! Doesn't have egg, just popped like a balloon.
Yeah, there's a lot of engage here, by the way, as it turns out for KRX. They got Annie, they got a Pantheon, but they also got Ghoulie Wall! And that True Shot Barrage cut the donut in half.
I like that.
Well, the health bar,
that was a good one.
The person inside the zombie donut.
Yeah, no, we got it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Aiming this damage on an Namgung, like, he was out of the fight already.
Willer is going super deep with Frog, and then Gideon just kicks back the Pantheon, and then Willer's like, oh, this seems to be a bad time. And then Gideon's chasing Frog. Well, the rest of the team is like, we should kill the carries, so they don't kill Frog. They don't get Aiming or UCal, and Aiming and UCal are trying to chase down Bro, and nobody else dies outside the Pantheon. But here on the side, Casting finally is actually countered the other way. Can't get out, gets stunned again, gets True Shot, and bye-bye Birdie.
And that's it. That's the end of the engage. And I think that the Bros have learnt, maybe don't engage onto the Yorick because he takes a long time to kill.
Yeah.
They just don't quite have the damage to do so. Teddy very close to Infinity Edge, though, so that is going to be the beginnings of big damage for him. Aiming does have his first 3 items done. And so the Ezreal, looking pretty scary, went for the Endless Hunger instead of the Spirit Sojin. As Casting will be able to finish off this outer turret to grab the first one for the Bros. And even though, it's soul point for KRX, it's only an Ocean Drake, right? And yes, that'll be a very annoying thing for Frog, right? Like the Bros dealing with Frog as a result of that soul coming in, that'll be a worrisome situation. But Ocean isn't the biggest of deals. There is already an Oblivion Orb here for Casting, who's going to be putting that Glacial Storm down for everyone to deal with.
The Dragon, honestly, at this point, is just an Elder Spawner. Effectively in this game. And Bro just don't seem able to win traditional team fights in this game. And so every time we watch these fights, including the one where they just got a kill in the mid lane but lost the fight, you're left wondering if they can do it, if they know how to do it. Does anyone know how to run this composition? It's quite a weird one, but Bro, definitely looking a little bit lost in terms of actual impactful team fights, even though only 1,000 gold behind. Gideon over here for the contest. This is not a secured Baron by any means here, as Gideon is Lee Sin. They do have some vision in the pit. It will be cleared. Let's see if they decide to go in.
Double teleports coming down onto this ward as Namgung looking very, very low. There is the Maiden being attacked as they put Romer in the goalie. Well, Namgung in a lot of trouble, but keeps himself alive. They pull off the Baron, but lose their jungler. Now Frog's in trouble, and Teddy making this Infinity Edge work, man.
They tried to send Willer to kill the enemy jungler so he could secure the Baron, but the exact opposite occurs. As he's focused down, they lose the Baron. And this game is just peak comedy.
Oh, it is. We are broing and brewing like we never have before in the original matchup that spawned it. Oh, it's gorgeous. I like how there's so much downtime, but then there's also just weird and wacky.
All right, look at this. He goes in on the on the Namgung, and not even Gideon. Gideon's the one who kills him, but he wanted to taxi in to try to deny any sort of 50-50 here. But the rest of the team couldn't follow up, so he was a one-way ticket.
It felt like Yukal was looking for a flank angle, and then Willer just went in that little bit too early. Because if there was a flash Tivers, then that play looks amazing.
Yeah, instead, it's like, ooh, we just gave the lead to Bro.
Yeah, and for the first time so far this game, and there's a minute and a half left on this Dragon, maybe it's time for the Bros to start stacking up some Oceans. As Gideon gets a GA as well, that is actually going to be a huge deal for providing a little bit of frontline here for the team.
Look at how, look at the mini-map. It's Willer and his kill squad running around trying to find people, but Bro are like, nah, I'm not crossing the outer turret point. I'm just not going to give you any kills. And KRX are not starting up Baron again. They're not trying to look for a turn. They're just trying to see if anyone will walk into Pantheon's engage range, and the answer is a pretty resounding no.
Nope.
Andre Brion are like, yeah, that Pantheon's kind of a problem for us. Let's stay away from him and just farm it up. And so as well, we have a pretty quiet state of the game here.
And Trisha Barrage is going to connect. There's the culling, is aiming. Arcane shifting forward. Structures being built all over the place. Bro having to contend with Fortnite happening at the bottom side of the screen as KRX will back away towards this this Ocean Drake pit. They have reformed now, though, as KRX being set up on one more time. Crystallize goes down. Frog now down to half health as Roma bounces out of the ghoulie wall. Willer there with the Aegis, but now has that one on cooldown as Teddy will clear out this wave. And, oh my goodness, Andal taking a lot of damage. They go between the worlds. Aiming takes a lot of damage from that one. There's the flash kick back onto Willer. His health bar is going to explode. The last shot there from Teddy. Fantastic. As now this glacial storm is blocking the rest of KRX from getting in. And without a smite, I do not think they're getting a soul off the back of this one.
And Frog is going in. They're trying to get
now the fight is down. Casting goes to the egg. Do they have enough damage? Yes, they do. Still, Roma gets a lot of AoE in there. Gideon locks down the Dragon. Can they get out, though? As Teddy will be taken out by the Pyroblast. Aiming, gets over the wall. The Mystic shots are raining down. He flashes over. Roma's taken out for a double for Yukal. And KRX, even though they miss out on the Drake, they will win the fight.
That's Rise Group, baby!
Oh my goodness.
Got the kill! They did it! They got the one pick! They got the jungler! They did it in a 5-minute standoff like that Dragon. But then Frog was able to just kind of keep walking at them, and eventually they start getting picked off piecemeal one by one. And Bro fall apart. Their gold lead swings back to KRX. A Baron will go over. They deny Ocean Soul. And the game just keeps going from here.
It does. So, the Baron will go over, and KRX will have it on everyone. But let's check this fight out one more
Willer
time.
Gets flash kicked by Gideon. Takes a little while for him to go down. Frog's applying damage on the other side. Look at how much poke Frog actually layers in here. Now you can't chase down the Ezreal. This wall could have been game-changing, but not able to catch aiming there. And now both carries are like, all right, Frog's going in. Look at casting Isolate while Teddy and Gideon are like, completely on a different page, trying to focus down a Baron that's at like 6k health.
Oh, so then Teddy was just trying to kill the Dragon.
Yeah, and they got the Dragon, but then he dies to Yukal's Q here. Namgung's incredibly low. Aiming has full control, can go over this wall here with a flash, and they line up and knock over the dominoes. So it's like, you look at some of these players' score lines, you're like, Yukal, 3-0 and 4, 600 gold lead, 1,400 gold lead for Teddy. Then you'll get a goal at the top of your screen in a 31.5-minute game. You're like, well, it's only 1,600 because the top side has a lead as well. Gideon has so many kills, but the Lee Sin is just not using the gold as well here as Aiming is in this game. Not to mention his lead isn't as big either.
And this time, Aiming is doing the damage. It's him that's doubling Teddy approximately on the back end of this one. So nicely done so far for KRX as the bear goes wide. There are a lot of like NPCs that can be thrown down by KRX as there is the turn on to Roma and he just explodes. Actually takes himself between worlds and would prefer to be back on this particular plane. They are going to break open the mace.
Yeah, they're going to push to potentially end this game. Romer's not up for 45 seconds. We are super late in this game. As it's been a slow one, but it ended with a bang.
Look at this.
It looks like we're going the distance.
Of siege minions here. There are 3 cannons walking towards these Nexus turrets, and my goodness, Aiming does so much damage to these structures. As Gideon looking to go in, doesn't have his flash, but does have the kick. As Teddy tidies up the minions at least with the culling and does a bit of damage to Aiming. So that will be 1 Nexus turret falling, and the inhibitor turret in this bottom lane will be falling down as well. Mid lane is open, the Glacial Storm comes down, and the Bros may live to fight one more day, but their base may not.
All right, they are going to survive, but 2 inhibs down. And if anybody dies here, it's just over. True Shot, decent damage. UCal, no flash, but is closing the gap here for a potential Tibbers setup.
Yeah, Roma just trying to kill these minions as best he can. There are circles all over the place here for the Bros. And it looks like KRX are just going to back away. Pretty good play, right? 5,000 gold for the Red Bull Baron power play, 20 seconds to go.
Biggest gold lead of the game so far. Crazy, crazy. I mean, this is after a really long game 1 where,
yeah,
unfortunately, Hanja and Breon took a really long time to close that one out. They ultimately did do it. It was not a turnaround from UCal's Cassiopeia. This feels like the opposite side of game 1, except it's Gideon who's trying to get everything done and has been the only one who's been able to consistently get things done in this game, but he's a Lee Sin, so he doesn't really have that late game scaling power. And I think KRX, there is no way they lose from here, right? I mean, they have such a massive lead now. This Ezreal is just untouchable. And, I mean, the setup is pretty simple. They've got Pantheon with map control. They've got an Annie. Just look for another turn on the next Baron or this Ocean Soul fight, which is arguably less important, frankly, than the Baron with 2 inhibitors down. They're just going to continue to group and look to actually siege up that top side while they 4-1.
Yeah, and the Bros were given a little bit of respite, but I think KRX did the right thing where they just say, I don't care about your brush camp. We're just going to push this super minion wave into your base. As Teddy taking a lot of damage here. Another minion wave does conga line out.
He also has TP, so even though he's relatively far away, he could have just TP'd at any moment. He is just going to get the group up here to actually start sieging this top inhibitor turret.
Oh, bit of poke damage there from the Bros, but not looking like it's going to be enough. The Medium is just going to be annoyed by the Crystallize once again.
I see a on-the-way ping from Willer to the Dragon. He's like, okay, we're not. This game is going to go on a little bit longer. Going to go down here and take the Ocean Soul that no one really cared about.
Oh, Gideon.
Gideon is invisible this game.
Yeah, did he manage to sneak that whole way there?
He gave the blindfold to KRX.
He does get spotted here on this control ward, though, as KRX are now just going to look for him. He does have information about where they're going as Aiming gets over. Tagged by the Q here. And if anyone was closer, it might have been an option as, yeah, the rest of the Bros do turn up. There's a Crystallize to block Willer out.
It's not worth it.
Dragon.
It's just an Ocean Soul. It's okay, KRX.
All right, well, the Ethan does go down. The culling's fantastic, but the Frog is just going back to the base. Aurora going to show up. They deny the soul, and the Bros look to escape. Willer a bit worse for wear, but he's still ulting in. As Namgun, can he keep his teammates alive? Willer is so close to dead, but the bear flies down. True Shot barrage onto 4, and Frog pulls out the shovel and looks to dig the grave for the Bros here in game number 2.
They finally close the door. Nothing left in this Nexus turret. Romer doing his best to try to get to the back line.
He'll get there, but that's also where he'll stay as a corpse. The Nexus will then be taken down, and KRX, they'll bring us to game number 3.
And in the final moments, Willer and UCal sent it in together. UCal TP'd mid, Willer followed with the ult, and Frog closed the door on the wraparound is aiming crest 41,000 damage. We are going to a decisive game 3. The Rise group is so close. Right now.
본진 될 때 생각해. 본진 뗄게. 본진 뗄게.
자 가자. 괜찮아. 천천히.
우리도 본진 텔이야.
나 못 밀어 내가 애니 풀러. 묻어맞아.
야 리신.
천천히.
나 싸움 두는데.
야나 디테일 때 하나만 기다려봐.
옐로 찍.
하나만 나 디테일이야.
아.
리신 노궁이야.
위에서 쪼인 중. 루시안.
봐.
루시안 잡았어.
야 끝내자. 가자. 나 프리 10초야.
쭉 가면 될 듯?
얘 지금 못 갔어 이거.
아 지금 못 가, 지금 못 가.
바로 끝내. 보고.
끝내자.
나이스요.
나이스.
나이스요.